Welcome. Today is 1st of October, and it's now time for the weekly San Jose State football press conference. A few housekeeping matters. Travis Johnson selected as the WAC Defensive Player of the Week for the second time this season. 3 tackles for loss, 1.5 quarterback sacks, forced fumble. In the 8 tackles that he made, I believe the net yards that Navy gained was minus 11. It's not bad. Austin Lopez received National Place Kicker of the Week recognition from the College Football Performance Awards group in Davidson, North Carolina. 4 for 4, 9 for 9 on the season. He's among the handful of kickers in the Football Bowl subdivision has made all of his field goal attempts this season. For those of you who tune in to the Mike MacIntyre radio show on KLIV, because of the bye week this week, there will be no show taped at Original Joe's. Consequently, no show airing on KLIV Wednesday, October the 3rd. Next week, San Jose State will have its annual homecoming contest. This year's opponent is Utah State. It's a 1 o'clock game. The game will be televised locally on KOFY TV, Channel 20. It'll be available on your Comcast systems. For those of you who have DirecTV and or Dish Network, it'll also be available on those satellite cable carriers. So now it's time to bring in head coach Mike MacIntyre.
All right, thank you. We had a good weekend last weekend. First of all, I'd like to thank our administration for flying us out on a Thursday, which was a big deal for us to get. It's a 3-hour time change. It was a 6-hour-and-a-half flight. And so to be able to let our kids recover and be fresh for the game. We were able to, 90% of our team and half of our coaching staff had never been to Washington, D.C. before, and I felt like that was an opportunity that they needed to never pass up, and it really meant a lot to everybody that went. It was really enjoyable. In our football game, our kids played extremely hard. I think one of the main differences in the football game was our offense was able to keep the ball for basically, I think, 38 minutes of the game, and Navy only had it for 22 minutes. So they were able to keep the Navy offense on the bench, keep our defense fresh, and, of course, Austin Lopez making 4 field goals, and the defense playing a phenomenal football game. Anytime you shut out someone, is pretty amazing in today's football with all the scoring points that you see all the time. So it looks like the new total, like if you hold somebody under 50, you're doing a good day the way this weekend went. But I'm very proud of Kent Bear and the defensive staff and the defensive players, and my hat's off to our offensive staff and Brian and the offensive guys for keeping Navy's offense on the bench. Of course, Fred and the special teams, Fred Jaducci and special teams coordinator, and the special teams did a great job of keeping them pinned back, and our field goal unit did a great job. So I'll take any questions from there.
Not sure how much more you can say about what Travis Johnson has done. Another great week. I mean, what impresses you the most when you watch him play?
What impresses me the most about Travis Johnson is every day he comes to work. Every day. Every day he's here. Every day he shows up every Saturday. There hasn't been a Saturday I've been here yet that I don't think he showed up. Now, he showed up better than some, but he's always showed up. And he's, I just can't say enough about what a phenomenal young man he is. He's the heart and soul of our defense and really sets the tone for us. And I love to see number 43 coming out there for coin toss and leading our team out. It's a big deal. He's a phenomenal player.
Coach, where's the biggest area of improvement in the bye, and what do you want to get out of your team with the week off?
Well, there's a lot of areas for improvement. When you watch the film, there's a lot of areas that we need to improve. One of the areas I think we need to improve is a little bit of our short yardage offense. We're better. At least Saturday, we were better on 3rd and long than we were 3rd and a yard. So we'll improve on that. And we hadn't really had problems with that until last Saturday, and I thought that Navy did a good job of kind of scheming us up a little bit, so we need to be able to figure that out. So that's an area we need to improve on. We improved our tackling last week, but that's something that we need to keep always improving. We'll have our work cut out for us against Utah State. Phenomenal running back in Williams, and then Chucky Keaton, the quarterback in the open field. We're going to have to be able to make open field tackles. So that's something that we'll work hard on. And then we just need to keep improving our whole football team. And then Sosh has got to get a few of our guys back healthy this week. So that's another area that we need to improve on. And Sosh, our trainer, does a phenomenal job with them. And I think a few days off here will help a few of those guys' ankles and different things be able to have time to heal up and be ready to go for practice for Utah State.
Coach, with such another historic win, do you feel as though your team's getting the media attention it deserves?
Well, I think you very good question. You earn your media attention, and the more we keep putting wins back to back, then we'll get all that we want, and our kids will have earned the right to do that. It was exciting going to Navy and playing on national television, and the way we played, I thought showed a lot of heart and a lot of intensity. So we'll get that as we keep trying to win.
Your team is on pace for one of the more successful in recent history. Do you think this bye actually comes at a bad time?
No, I don't. We had 5 games in a row. We played some really tough football teams. We're beat up a little bit, and that was a long trip to Navy. And there's a stat that I look at. A lot of teams that play Navy, the week after they play Navy, they always lose because they're so beat up with all the cut blocking and all the chop blocking, the physicality of the football game. To me, it was a perfect time for an open date.
Ryan Auden had another big game. Do you think his improving play has more to do with adjustments made or with him just getting healthier?
Him getting healthier. He's able to be out there more. He's able to be open more. We're able to utilize him more in the game plan because we know he's going to be out there all the time. So he has the ability, it's just having him out there at practice all week, knowing he's going to be able to play in the football game. And once he's out there, he's a big target. You see him. And David's doing a good job of finding him, and Brian's doing a good job of getting him in positions to catch the football.
The homecoming game against Utah State is going to be a tough game. How do you see the bye coupled with Utah State playing BYU? How do you see that coming together in your advantage?
It's going to be a very tough game. Gary has done a tremendous job at Utah State. I really respect what he's done. I really respect their football team. The last 2 years, they've beat us in heartbreaking fashion at the end of the game. So our kids are going to be working for it, are going to be excited about the game, and we're looking forward to having a great crowd out there. And I believe it's on ESPN3, and it's on local television, too. We're excited about the homecoming game, and it's going to be an extremely tough contest. They're a very good football team. Really shouldn't have lost yet. They barely missed a chip shot field goal against Wisconsin. The BYU game Friday night would be very interesting. I won't be watching. I'll be at my son's game, but I'll definitely tape it and watch it. We'll all watch it when we get back on Friday night, that's for sure.
The offense moved the ball well, just obviously couldn't find the end zone. Was the way your defense playing, not giving up anything, did that kind of allow you guys to not have to be over-aggressive on offense, that you knew that if you got the field goals, you probably would be okay?
I wish I could say that, but no. We just didn't execute as well as we'd like in the red zone like we have been. And tip our hats to Navy. They did some really good things. Buddy Green's a phenomenal defensive coordinator, very wise, knows what he's doing, has done a good job at Navy. We just made we were just off here or there just a little bit. But thank goodness we were able to hold on to the ball, make sure we kicked the field goals, and we're able to play good enough defense to win the football game. But again, you're right. We moved the ball so well. In a way, if you watch the game, what I was getting nervous about, we kept kind of letting Navy hang around, so to speak, where we should have been up 21-0 or 28-0. We're up 9-0, and one touchdown, a field goal, they win. So, but I think that the effort and the intensity of our team just stayed with it, and I was very pleased with how the offense did. Not as far as getting in the end zone, but as far as moving the football and getting third downs and keeping Navy on the bench. That was one of the things we wanted to do. If you strike quick and score, you'd love that. But if you do that and they come back out and we've only rested a few minutes and they grind it out on, that's what they want to do. They want to keep their offense out there the whole time. It all worked except for not getting in the red zone, and we'll improve in that area.
Coach, today's Twitter question of the day, sponsored by Rubio's, comes from Andrew, and he asks, how can the offensive line improve against Utah State?
Well, we need to keep working at our blocking schemes. We need to make sure that we're getting ourselves in the right plays to help them improve. But I think overall they've played pretty well. We've moved the ball well. We were scoring a lot of points. We would have scored a lot of points Saturday. Just had a few misses here and there, and we would have had some more points. But I've been pleased with how the offensive line has done, and we've kind of been beat up a little bit on the offensive line. So we've had to have guys step in that haven't had as much experience, and I thought they filled in well. So I think that we'll improve this week after they kind of we'll look at the first 5 games and critique it and look at it, and those kids will sit down and watch things that they've done positively and negatively, and I think that'll help them improve on what they need to work on.
Coach, no disrespect meant to the other teams in the conference, but Louisiana Tech, Utah State, and the Spartans look kind of like clearly above the rest, so to speak. So how tough is it challenge-wise as a coaching staff to keep them kind of level and not too high for this Utah State game, knowing how big it is going to be?
Oh, I want them as high as they can be. I want them to win this football game, and that's why we take every game. Our kids have learned. I think you've watched them now. They've learned that every game is big. And every game you got to focus on just as hard, and you have to be just as intense. And I think that's the maturity level of our football team. UTSA is undefeated too. They're 5-0. And it'll be interesting to see what they do against Rice this weekend. They've got a good football team. So, we'll play, Utah State this next weekend, and they'll be probably coming in here 5-1. And then if UTSA wins, they'll be undefeated, and we'll probably play them in front of 60,000 people in their dome down there. So every game is important as it goes. And, we've been to New Mexico State and Idaho the last times, and we both lost those on the last plays of the game at their places. So I don't think our kids, they don't have a silver spoon in their mouth. They still have a chip on their shoulder. They're still hungry to I guess, put away some old demons, so to speak. So I'm not too worried about that.
Coach, what made you have Lopez kick a field goal on 4th and 1 in both the third and fourth quarter instead of going for it?
Well, we didn't get the earlier 4th and 1s, and he was kicking it good, and we had the wind behind us at that time, and so I felt good about him kicking the field goals, and we needed points. And I tried earlier, and it didn't work out, so I decided we better go ahead and get points as much as we can, and I think that proved to work out well.
Right here. You guys have the #1 pass offense in the WAC, and Utah State has the #1 pass defense in the WAC. To me, that says something's got to give. How does your game plan change going into the game there?
Well, it'll change according to what they do defensively. Every game does. Some teams are zone teams, some teams are man teams, some teams are pressure teams, some teams drop 8. Just depends on what they do. So we'll be studying them this week, and we'll look at what they do and find out the best way to attack them. But we're still going to be able to throw the ball. I think we have good weapons. I think we have good receivers. I think our quarterback is very good. So we'll need to be that. But we'll also have to be able to run the ball some. And, we ran the ball decently last week. We had some sacks that lost us some yardage. We would have had over about 150 yards rushing. So we need to be able to be balanced, and I think that help us in the passing game.
Obviously, you mentioned earlier that you were having some problems on 3rd and short and even 4th and short. What kind of adjustments can you make to rectify that?
Well, that's what we're looking at on film, and we'll find some to do it. I don't really want to give out our tips right now on what we'll do, but we'll definitely have to change and then shore up a few of the things that we did. A couple of them were we just didn't execute well, and a couple of them they schemed us a little bit. So I think there's a combination of the two.
Mike, how much will you spend on Utah State this week as opposed to just working on improving yours?
It'll be 50-50. We'll go out tomorrow on Tuesday and mainly work on improving ourselves, and then Wednesday and Thursday, because we'll have time today and tomorrow to game plan for them, we'll work 50% on Utah State and 50% on our own corrections and fundamentals on Wednesday and Thursday, and then we'll come back Sunday evening, and that'll be straight 100% Utah State for the rest of the time.
Does the fact that you guys have a common opponent in Colorado State help you this week get your game plan ready?
Yes, it does help us a little bit. It really does, because we've watched the teams and see how they attack each other and know a little bit about personnel, so we can kind of judge a little bit on speed and athleticism. So I think that it does help us a little bit, yes.
Coach, I know your focus is obviously on winning the game, but how satisfying is it, to get the first win ever in the Eastern time zone, get the first shutout in about 9 years? After the fact, does that kind of settle in and go, wow, that's kind of cool?
Yeah, it is nice. It really is. To be the first one to win in the Eastern time zone, the first shutout against a bowl subdivision team since 1989, I think it was. Those are some strategic. We broke a lot of barriers, and I think that's great for our kids and great for our program, and they understand and know that, and so they're taking a lot of pride in that, and they want to keep it going in the right direction. They're excited about the future, and they're excited about getting back to work and going. So all those things, I think, add, I guess, fuel to the fire, so to speak, and make them more proud and understand what they're building.
This kind of being a natural break point in the season with the bye, how would you assess the way the first 5 games have gone for you?
Well, I felt like we were very disappointed after the Stanford game. Felt like we should have won the game, and then since then, we played. I thought we had a little bit of an early start against UC Davis. They really schemed us up good. Coach Biggs is a phenomenal coach, and our kids got going, and we're playing hard, and I thought we played well there. Colorado State game was a really big game for us, and that was an exciting game. I thought we finished the game off. We went to San Diego State, and that was a battle. What a great game that was. And to finish it the way we did was, I thought, well. And then going to Navy, playing against that option offense all the way across the country. What a great setting for college football, a packed stadium. It was loud in there. They blow horns the whole time. I wasn't expecting that. They blow horns constantly the whole game. And I thought on national television, I thought it was a good stage. The thing that I've liked that I thought would happen, but you're not always sure, is we get better and better and better as the game goes along. We don't fall off. And that, I think, is a key for our football team. They just keep improving, and they're in good shape. They finish strong, and we're one of our goals was after the Stanford game and after the UC Davis game was to start a little faster. We've been working on that. Well, we scored first in the Colorado State game. We scored first in the San Diego State game. And we scored first in the Navy game, and we also scored last. So we finished all those games, started and finished, and that's what we want to do.
Coach, do you have any status updates on Keith Smith or Jabari Carr?
Jabari had an opportunity to maybe play, but he wasn't quite there, and we felt like if we would have had an injury during the game, he probably would have played some, but we didn't. So he's doing good. Keith Smith, we didn't feel like he was ready to go, and I'll know a little bit more about how he's feeling. He was walking around pretty good on it today, so hopefully he'll be able to do some more at the end of this week. And then we came out of the game we still got some bumps and bruises that a few guys need to kind of take it off here for a few days to let that heal up, to give them some rest, but they'll be ready to go Sunday.
Coach, the ability to convert on third down seemed to help big in most games this season so far. Can you talk a little bit about how your third game efficiency has improved?
Yeah, our third down play on offense has really improved. Our quarterback knows where to go with the ball. We've been able to mix up the run and the pass in that situation. The line's doing a good job of picking up the blitzes, that type of thing, and we catch the ball. I've been very, very pleased with our third down efficiency, and we just need to keep that going. And then defensively, we're playing really well on third down on defense, and those are two key components on getting off the football field. One staying on the football field, and one getting off, and that's a big deal. And then our turnover ratio, I believe we're +2 right now, or +3, which is big. You always want to be on the plus side, so we need to keep that going.
Coach, I know your greatest concern is with wins and losses, but the announced crowds at the home games this year have been quite low, despite your success. How big is it for your team, especially this upcoming homecoming game, to have a strong presence in the stadium?
Oh, we would always love to have a strong presence. I know that it's been loud in there, though. The ones that are there have been really loud. And I think we'll have a good crowd this weekend. That's out of our control. Our control is win football games, and I do believe the more football games you win, the more people that will come. And so we're looking forward to having a good homecoming crowd there. And we definitely want excited about the student body being out there at the game for homecoming, and I think they definitely will.
You brought up some of the improvements that you guys have made through the first 5 weeks. What are the area of concerns to you through the first 5?
Well, I think we need to get better on our short yardage situations and accomplish that. That kind of flared its head up a little bit this week. I think we need to get a little bit better in our tackling, which we improved. And I think also the other thing, I think we need to be able to, our red zone offense that we talked about a little bit, we were able to do that, but maybe some people are getting some tendencies on us, and we'll fix those types of things. But overall, we've got to keep improving. I think we need to play a little bit harder. I know I said we finished strong, but we need to improve that. We need to keep playing harder and harder and harder. And then, we got to get some of these guys back that are beat up a little bit. I think that'll help tremendously. So I say tackling and short yardage and improving a little bit more in our red zone area.
Coach, one of the keys for the Navy game was stopping their rushing game. Do you feel as though your front seven accomplished that pretty well?
Yeah, I do. I feel like they did really well. And we tackled well there. We read our keys well. We were very physical. We played our technique correctly, played our assignment football correctly, and then ran to the football. And I think that was extremely important on what we did. I thought they did really well.
Last year, the pass rush was basically Travis Johnson and more Travis Johnson. This year, more guys contributing. I mean, already 6 more sacks through 5 games than you had all of last year. What do you attribute that to?
Well, first of all, Coach Jeff Coate has done a great job with the defensive line. And then I would say Coach Bear and the different schemes he's thrown at people. We're not sitting in the same thing. And, they've gotten better. And we have more guys, and we're able to keep them a little bit fresher. And I think that helps you be able to rush the passer if you're a little bit fresher. You're not worn out. It's kind of like wrestling. If you've ever wrestled before, you get worn out. If you can wrestle a guy and then put in a fresh guy, that's kind of what we've been able to do on defense.
Mike, do you expect to get Ben Dixon back soon?
Yeah, we expect to get him back sometime this week is what we expect. We hope to have him ready for Utah State.
And do you think he will be capable of getting in the rotation for Utah State, or is he a few weeks away from that?
We would hope that he could get in the rotation for Utah State. He was in the rotation before we started. Hopefully we'll see where he sits coming back, but we'd like him to. That would help us stay a little bit fresher. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, that'll do it for this week. Again, the next San Jose State football press conference is Monday, October the 8th, 1 p.m. Thanks very much, and we'll see you next week.